You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kervison, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kervison, joined with Reed Bacon. Oh, it's good to be back. We're jumping into a podcast right now, right before some important life stuff that's happening with the group. And then we will really ramp it up once the football season starts. But it's been so long, we wanted to get a chance to talk about everything that's happened and get a chance to just talk to each other, honestly, a little face-to-face, because I haven't seen the Reed boy in a while. But before we get into any of that, Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Kyler, the big fella. Dude, it legitimately feels incredible to be back, to see your face. If we get 5 views on this, I will not care, because it's going to be very enjoyable just to sit and BS and chat with you, as just to catch up on a bunch of stuff. But we are national champions.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I mean, we are national champions. And, it took me a little bit to comprehend, we're playing in the World Series finale for national championship. And then it happened. Now, guys, I get it. This is mid-July. It happened a couple weeks ago. We know that everyone's already talked about it, done about it. That's fine. That's okay. Kyle and I still want to talk about it. I think we're going to bring a little bit different side of the house when we do talk about it. But it feels great. I mean, I went and got my stuff.
Just right away, had to buy it.
I actually did go the day after we won, and it was so funny. I went to Alumni Hall right off Paper Mill, and the place was packed. And the one lady, she's probably the manager there because she's always in there, and she's just working like crazy. I walked in, I was like, "Did something happen last night? Or what's going on here?" And she just looked at me and grinned. But so many people were in there buying. But I waited because I wanted this shirt, the one that the players are wearing after. And then I got my dad a hat, and I got Lou, my uncle, a shirt, the one that they were wearing the next day at the at the parade.
Incredible.
Yeah, and so, anyways, yeah, it was incredible. We're gonna dive into that. Couple things. So we're gonna dive into baseball. We'll talk a little bit about the new uniforms. We'll talk a little bit about some recruiting stuff. NCAA 25. I'm introducing the Bacon Big Board Breakdown for the season. So each day or each podcast, we're going to have a quote. This is "We Are the Champions" by Queen. There was no other ones that I could pick besides that. And I could have done the "All we do is win, no matter what." But that's even though I like T-Pain, that song annoys me.
Listen, you don't have to explain yourself. This is your fucking big board.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. Don't forget that. Yeah. And then I got a little reminder right here. I think my theme for the season in all the takes that we have is my opinion. So you're going to hear me say my opinion because and I'm not
get in trouble.
No, not because of that. Because I'm so sick and tired of listening to people take sports talk, whether it's radio, TV, or other podcasts, and they just state stuff as fact. And it's that's not fact. The fact is the University of Tennessee Volunteers won a national championship. That's fact. But to then say, for example, yesterday I was listening as I was running errands, and a guy's on CBS Sports Radio and saying that Colorado and Dion are going to be much improved and they are going to win more than 4 games this year and they are going to compete. It's like, well, first off, I don't know what compete means, but you're speaking in facts. Those are not facts. That's your opinion. So whenever I lay an opinion down, I'm going to say my opinion.
That's good. That'll keep you out of trouble. That'll keep you out of people holding it against you when they're betting with your opinion. Yeah, also, just like Greg McElroy saying, like, Tony Vitello is a horrible human being, like that's your opinion. It's a dumb opinion, but like it's your opinion, not a fact.
Bro, hold on.
That's part of Vol baseball we'll get into because that shit pisses me off like no other.
Dude.
We're getting distracted already. We're jumping ahead already.
Let me just say this. First off, I have another whiteboard right down here that I'm actually going to be holding up, and I'm going to be drawing and breaking down plays this season. So I have this little one, but I got another little one here that I can actually do. So you'll see another breakdown when we do plays. The other thing is I have a Greg McElroy story coming for you at the end of this, and it's 100% true. And I can't stand the guy. But anyways, Beautiful. We'll get back to that. How Beautiful. Have you been? How have you been? And how has working, trying to flip that small hotel that you have as a home now?
Yeah. Not quite a small hotel. It was, so we bought it from the previous owners. They were literally trying to make it into a halfway house. Like, that is 100% fact. They were trying to make as many bedrooms as they could possibly make so they could fit as many people in it as they could. So when we bought it, it was said to be a 6-bedroom. But that included 3 basement 10 by 10 by 6'5" rooms, which not really bedrooms. That I am in one of them right now as we speak. But it has been very challenging. It has been very straining, very overwhelming to try and do, but just turned 31, going to have a new outlook on life, going to try and be positive, even though it might be doing hard-ass shitty work. Just got done outside doing yard work and trying to set up a fence for the past 2 hours, sweating through my shirt. So this is my second shirt of the day. Will probably not be my last as I continue to work. But it has been good. I'll tell you one thing about owning a home, which our viewers who own homes, who live in homes, they understand this a little bit more, and they're used to it by now. But by God, if you freaking forget something in another room, it's a whole lot easier when you live in 850 square feet. When you're living in 3,600 square feet with 3 levels, it is a bitch when you forget something upstairs or downstairs and you're like, golly, I got to go back down there, freaking get that again. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I cannot tell you how many times I've been like, where is that tape? Oh, shit, I left it downstairs. Where is that roll of paper towel? They're upstairs, damn it. And I have to go back up the stairs, back down the stairs. I think I've lost 20 pounds just going up and down stairs. It's just
you really
it's exaggeration, obviously. Do I look like I'm 230? No.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah. Come on.
Just you are definitely not allowed to lose any more weight because if this somehow turns into where I weigh more in this podcast,
Reed's gonna be a little upset. So
you
that's my big news. That's my big news. My house, my things are going on. What about the Bacon's big news?
Yeah, so you can see I'm finally in my office at the new house. So Megan and I purchased this home, and I did a couple pods from the dining room and from the bookcase when I hurt my back. But now I'm officially in my office.
Bookcase.
It's coming together. It's coming together. So like over here, I have one of my Holston pictures and then the big board. And then over here, my closet door's blocking it. But I got 2 really cool photos of actually my dad. One of them is one that I took, and it's like a silhouette, but because I was far away, but it was him hitting a golf shot on number 18 at Pebble.
Your house is set up a little bit different than mine. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you what my office looks like. Over here we have an abyss. Over here we have just a gray wall with a ledge and some open ducting and drain pipe that are going through the room. So it's a little bit different setup for Big K-Man. Not quite the office that you're looking at, not drywall on every wall. So we're going to have to get to that point. But I like your Holston picture. I like that. Yeah, it's real nice.
You know what? You know what though? In the 3 years that we've done this, this is the first time I feel like I'm settled in a spot. And I would say,
when you were in your room, you were in the kitchen, like you said, in a bookcase for an episode. I get it.
At the Chinese buffet.
The Chinese buffet. Hey, for the waybacks, everybody remembers the Chinese buffet.
And then when we first started, I was living in my other house, and I was in that office in there, but that was only for a little bit. But I kind of always had a feeling that I would end up selling that because I knew when I met someone, if they didn't like the house, then we'd buy something together. But Megan and I love this house, and yeah, I've got a couple other Holston pictures. I got one of my prized possessions over here, which was one of my autographs. And then upstairs, I'm still going to have some cool stuff down here in the office. But upstairs will really be where like all my autographs and man cave is. It'll be where my Kyler Kerberson number 77 autograph will be framed. So once that gets framed, I'll show everybody. But yeah, it feels great. And so, one of the last times we were on here, we had gone to my bachelor party, and now I get married officially in less than a week. I have the wedding next Saturday, which is extremely, extremely exciting. I am beyond fortunate and lucky and blessed. Megan's incredible. Her family is incredible, and so I'm really fortunate that I'm fired up to see you and to see some other buddies for that day. But yeah, so it's, basically since we talked last, it's been you trying to get moved in and get organized. It's us trying to move in and get organized. We won a national championship in that time, which was great. But then a timeline moving forward, this will come out on the 15th or 16th, whatever, next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'll have my wedding Saturday. Then we'll go on a semi-short honeymoon, and then it's back. And that's where you and I are going to try to pick back up, being every week, doing all the football stuff. I know that you're going to try to come and go to a summer practice, which is spring practice is great, but nothing better than going to a training camp because it's right around the start of the season.
My number one goal for this season is to keep you on track. My number one goal, because Reed just keeps going and we end up with hour 45 podcasts. And we gotta keep on track. Number one.
I'm doing good right now. I'm giving the timeline.
You're doing great. We're only 13 minutes in, and we haven't got to the first subject yet, but you're doing great.
Okay. So, anyways, that's the last thing I was going to say is pods will start 1st of August, going out weekly. We'll do our breakdowns. We'll talk about the upcoming season. I'll try to get Kyler in town to go to a practice. And we'll go from there. Let me hear about how you felt during this baseball run. Where did you pick up? How did you feel? All that.
So really, I think everything boils down to that 2022 season on how I felt about baseball. Like first, if I was a betting man and it was back in 2012, 2013 when I was at Tennessee and someone told me, hey, one of the major sports is going to win a championship, which one is it going to be first? Baseball would have been the last one that I chose. They were in such a bad spot. It looked abysmal, like for the future. Like we didn't know what the baseball program was going to be. And Tony Vitello and the work that he's done and his ability to turn this around and his ability to make guys care so much about being better, about helping each other, about just his ability as a head coach is just bar none. Like there's a reason why this team has continued to win year after year after year. I'll say, though, that the 2022 team being as dominant as it was, and then having the unfortunate early exit, kind of put okay, well, I guess it's not going to happen kind of feeling in my head. Even last year's baseball team, I don't think I watched more than a handful of games last year, 2023, because it was just like, oh man, like that was the team to do it. If any team was going to do it, that was the team. So this year, I really just jumped in once it got to College World Series, watched a little bit of SEC tournament, just a little bit, but really once it jumped into College World Series, once we were in the regional, and I was like, okay, like these teams don't seem very good. I do think that this will be a pretty simple path for us to get into the World Series. And, once we got to the championship and it was, here's the last 3 games of your life. Like that's how you got to consider it as a player. That's when I really wanted to lock in and watch and see these guys fight. And man, it's special what they were able to do. Because even after that first game where Texas A&M, mollywopped us. I mean, they were running up that score. It was, oh no, like this isn't going to be the year. Like we're going to lose. Like it's going to be over again. We don't. Oh no, we don't have a shot. We're not the 2022. Like literally, still thinking back, like we're not that team, right? We're not as good. But this team, their ability to fight. And you looked back on the season, you go, how many of these games did they come from behind? How many of these games were they fighting, 7th, 8th, 9th inning to win these games? And it's something that has kind of been a theme with Tony Vitello teams. But it's just incredible that we can now say Tennessee Volunteer national champions. I mean, a couple years ago, it felt incredible to say Tennessee Vols SEC champions. When basketball won it, it felt incredible. When baseball finally won it, it felt incredible. It's like we are getting into this theme now where Tennessee is the team that is talked about. Tennessee is the team that is on people's lips, that the country is speaking on, that, wow, did you see Tennessee in March Madness? Did you see that Dalton Connect? Wow, did you see Tennessee in College World Series? Wow, did you see this Nico kid over in Tennessee? Like that is all I've ever wanted as a fan growing up, as a former player. It's just, I want everything Tennessee to be on everybody's mind. I want that almost respect/fear that people in other countries hear about Alabama football. You understand what I'm saying? Like people in other countries know what, if someone says college football to them, they're like, you're talking about that Alabama team? Like that's the most known team because Nick Saban was so dominant for so long. I'm so glad he's fucking gone. It's just absolutely incredible. We're about to kick their ass in the next decade. But it just makes me so excited for the future and what a national championship brings to the school and to every other sport as well.
Yeah, a lot to jump in there. I do want to, before I kind of start chatting here, did you ever, while you were there, did you ever talk or have any buddies on the baseball team? Or I'm assuming, I know the football team while you were there had some struggles and you guys had some high moments. What was everyone just like, God, the baseball team sucks and everyone knows it and it was just kind of a joke or what?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was kind of seen as a joke. Like baseball team is not good. Every good player that was in like the East Tennessee area was going to other schools because they didn't really want to play at Tennessee. All the guys from Farragut and stuff like that. And but no, football and baseball didn't hang out like ever.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was. I don't know why there was never like a crossover, but it was very just divided. I had run into them randomly at different parties and stuff like that, but never really like got to know a bunch of the guys at all. But man, if they were better during that time, I guarantee we would have hung out with them more. Like it almost feels vain to say, but it's like when you're having success, people want to be around you. It's just true.
I've never, ever, ever, ever liked when people will say, well, this fan base isn't good, or we don't have good support, or maybe if we had more support. It's like, that's not how the world works. I'm sorry, it's not. Tennessee fans are great fans for football and basketball and now baseball, but you didn't even give them a reason to come be baseball fans. But this is even more of, as a Titans fan, and I grew up in Nashville, when we moved over there until I came to Knoxville, I was there till 4th or 5th grade. And in my childhood, going and playing at the Adelphia Coliseum, which is now Nissan Stadium, for 3 or 4 years in a row, the Titans sold out every game. It was a great home environment. And then I moved back here. Titans aren't as good. I finished high school and college. I go back over there. And when I'm living there after graduating from college and working, and the team's not very good, and you would hear like on sports talk and the interviews and all this stuff, and the players are like, well, we just don't have the fan turnout. We don't have the fan turnout. It's like, bro, you're 2-14. I'm not spending a couple $100 to come watch you get your ass kicked. Like, that's not how it works.
They were 2-14, and it cost $60 for the top seat.
Yeah,
it's still expensive.
Well, the thing is, you could have given me a free ticket.
Not like fair market value.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, you could have given me a free seat, and I'm not going to go watch my team get their ass beat. So it's like, so I've never liked that of when you don't have good fans if you're a winner and people don't show up, because Tennessee's always had diehards that will show up for certain things, but we're not going to just waste our time and money year round if we've gone through a bad football season or an up and down basketball season or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's one of those things. It's like, if you win, people will show up. Give them a reason to cheer for you. And then once you start winning, they'll still support you even if you lose a couple through that. So anyways, that's kind of my little tangent there. But anyway, so baseball for me, it was funny. My dad loves baseball, and if it's Tennessee sports, he loves anything. So this guy's watched like every baseball game for the past 3 or 4 years. I got into it in 2022 towards the end of the season, when I start hearing people talk about baseball that know way more about baseball than I do, but they're saying, hey, this could be one of the greatest college baseball teams ever. And you're like, wow, really? Okay, let me watch. So then I get my hopes up, and we end up losing. Okay, that's fine. Like, it was still a really good team. I fast forward to this year, and I'm getting a haircut. The day the SEC championship started, the tournament this year in baseball. And the lady that cuts my hair, she's great. Jennifer is a big UT fan, and she follows baseball, locked in. And as I'm leaving that day, I said, I don't know if it'll be this year. I said, but if he's here long enough, Tony's going to get him one. I said, I know it. Like, he will get him one if he's here long enough. And I said, once he gets one, if he doesn't get plucked away, I could see him winning multiple here. Like, if Tony really says, I'm going to be a UT lifer, and I don't have any aspirations going anywhere else, there is no
reason for him to go anywhere. So, like, I don't know what his, like, where he went to college, and like maybe he has connections of like that, but that's my only thought process of why he would ever leave.
Right, but you just never know. Like, if he's here and he's won a couple of natties, and he's like, okay, I want to go back to Arkansas because he was a coach there, or go back to TCU, or wants to go to the majors or do something closer to home where he was from in St. Louis or wherever it was. I don't know, but I'm just saying, if the guy's here for 15, 20, 30 years, like I don't see why he wouldn't have at least 3 natties. But anyway, so I was telling Jennifer that, and she goes, well, I hope you're right. The day after we had won the national championship, I had a haircut scheduled. And I walked in and I was like, what'd I say? And she goes, well, you were right. Well, I wasn't right. I didn't say he would win it this year. I said he would get him one. And she was like, you're right. It's just funny that that's funny how that happened. But so I didn't last year. It was kind of like, okay, coming off 2022, let's see how they do. I'll pick back up at the end of the year. And then this year, I kept following with it. And when the SEC championship started, I called Jack Foster from Rocky Top Insider. I'm like, Jack, talk to me. We just lost the first game of the SEC championship. I don't know about baseball. What's going on here? And so Jack we had a great conversation. He kind of tells me what he thinks Tony's doing, what the team's been doing, and all that. And then the next thing you know, they kind of use that game as a throwaway, and then they still go win the tournament, even though they maybe didn't necessarily want to win the tournament. In a way, they're happy that they won it and they're playing to win every game, but they're more worried about getting ready for Omaha or the regionals, the super regionals. Then you go to the regionals, win, then you have your supers, and we lose to Evansville, which I wasn't super nervous going into that Sunday, but I was still like, this isn't great. And then the great thing about that Sunday is from start to finish, it was kind of over. So homer, and then you look up and it's like the 3rd or 4th inning and we're up 9-0 or whatever. So it's like, okay, you feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you go into the World Series, and the very, very first World Series game is starting off. We're having all these errors, and then, it's back and forth. It was a pretty electric game, just like excitement-wise, but it wasn't great because, like I said, we're making a bunch of errors, and, you lose that game. And then you're kind of going through.
Felt like guys weren't locked in. That's what made me worry the most, because it was errors. It was like, what do you get? Like, you guys don't want to be here? You know what I mean? Like, that's what goes through your head first and foremost. Like, when you see that kind of stuff, like, hey, what? Hey, you paying attention? What's going on?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I misspoke. I said we lost that game. It looked like we were going to lose that game. My apologies. Megan and I had grabbed dinner at Aubrey's. I'm sitting there watching the game on my phone like a 5-year-old. She started joking I'm an iPad kid. And I'm sitting there watching on my phone and getting fired up. And then we had to run to Kroger, and I'm sitting there in the parking lot watching on my phone. And so anyways, I'm feeling there like, damn, like we're going to lose this. And then we have that comeback. And that comeback, and that's the thing I kind of want to tie into this for the overarching theme. And this is something you and I talked about. When you win a championship, when you win some sort of championship and you look back at it, all of the little moments and all of the people that stepped up and made plays, it almost seems like fairy tale in a way. But just go back and watch any other team that or like you go back and you think of like a game in the regular season, or you think about a moment at the start of the World Series. It's like there's so many plays that have to be made that are just kind of special in a way. But then you just start off with, we come back and beat Florida State when we look like we were dead, and everyone steps up. You got step up to the plate, big hit, step up to the plate, big hit, you score, all that stuff. Then you go to North Carolina, we win 6-1, which watching that game was nice because even though the score wasn't 10-2, the whole time I watched that game, I felt like we were in control and they couldn't score on us. So that was great. Yep. Then you play Florida State again, and I'm like, okay, I'm a little nervous. Like, I was like, we kind of stole one last time. Are they coming back out ready to go? Or, Kyler, listen to me, did Florida State miss their opportunity? Because as Tennessee fans, we've had plenty of games, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, that we're like, we're talking about 2 years later, like, if we had just done this, if we had just caught this pass, if we just made this basket, and it's like, is that what's going to happen? But no, that wasn't. Florida State is the team that is complaining about the strike zone or the check call or against Blake or whatever. And it's like, we're the champions now. We're the ones that overcome that stuff. And so you beat them, and then you drop the first game against Texas A&M. I remember talking to my dad after we lost that. I said, I don't feel great. I said, but I'm still not super worried. And he goes, they'll win tomorrow. And he goes, if they do win tomorrow, they're winning the series. And I was like, I hope you're right. And he was right. But to kind of wrap it all up and to kind of go into the next part of this baseball stuff that we talked about, and kind of the point I was trying to make there, when you win a championship and you can go back and just think of all these moments and all these players and all these plays, there wasn't just 1, 2, or 3 singular individuals that either made plays or played well. I mean, it was like from top to bottom, to bottom. And just to name, like, so Christian Moore hitting for the cycle, not in the World Series finale, but in the World Series. And then Blake Burke coming up with timely hits. And my guy, which there were so many of these guys that I kind of fell in love with, but with Cal Stark being a hometown guy, being a catcher, being from Farragut, and I would get legitimately juiced when he would do those pickoffs throughout the year.
Oh, yeah.
At first base. Like, I thought that was the nastiest, most cold-blooded thing ever. Well, then I find myself cussing him. Dude's 0 for 15. And it just got to a point where I was like, I love Cal, but every time he goes up there, it's just a bad at-bat. Whether it was three straight swings, or he sits and watches one, and then he's just chopping at stuff and just completely missing. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? And then he goes up and mashes one out. And then you got the catches up against the wall, and you got Kavarius. Yeah, like bombing one. And it's all these different things. But then we're not even hitting to the fact that then you get to Dylan Dreiling, who hits 3 homers in 3 games. 3 homers.
I mean, the clutch. I mean, can you describe anybody else more than him? It's just when we needed it, when we're literally can't freaking buy a run, he hits homers.
I mean, it's special.
Incredible.
It's special. And then Christian Moore starts the game, the game 3 off with a banger, and that's a great way to.
You felt so down after game 2. It was like, we need something. And Christian Moore, and honestly, when he went up to the plate, I was like, he's so pissed. I thought, like, he's so pissed that the pitchers got the better of him yesterday. Mm-hmm. That he holds himself in higher regard. He's like, I can't go out like this. I cannot go out like this. I have to show who I am. And it was like, here you go. This is me right here. Yesterday was a fluke. This is who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And it's just one of those things that there's good players. There's really good players in sports. But there's something about doing it when it matters most. There truly is. There's that extra factor. And so you have these guys that are really good players, but they don't do it. Then you got the ones that are really good players and they do it and they become great. And then you have individuals that are your role players, but they step up in big time moments through different sports. And that's what makes sports so incredible. You never know when it's someone's time. And so you have all these different big at bats and different big plays. And then I fell in love, dude, with like Xander on the mound, and I love Combs, and it was pretty cool to have Combs be able to finish it out after the balk, and he has that smile, and then everyone loves Kirby, and I love Kirby too. Everyone loves him, but Xander and AJ were just like, I don't know why, I like those dudes, and watching them pitch, and I'm not even a baseball fan, but I'll watch anything when it's for a championship, and then obviously anything that's involving Tennessee, I'm locked in, so I never thought I would sit and watch a 4-hour baseball game and be on the edge of my seat like I was. And give credit to Texas A&M. I was very impressed with some of their pitching and some of their different players and stuff, but it feels like incredible doesn't even do it justice. I couldn't sleep that night. I mean, the game ended at 12. I probably didn't fall asleep till 2, looking at everything on social media and everything and watching the news and watching the interviews. And my final statement about this is this championship, the rings are only going to the 2024 team, but this championship is for all the guys that have been here under Tony, because this solidifies them. The 2022, yeah, you guys didn't get it done, and that stinks. But as a whole program, this solidifies that Tennessee's not just a good program; they're a national championship program. And then to tie it into, you see Rick Barnes and you see Josh Heupel there, and for those guys to seem as genuine as they seem, that didn't seem fake. That didn't seem like, I mean, Rick
those
and
guys
Tony,
love each other. Those guys love each other.
that's special.
They really do.
Yeah, and that's something that's important to have. Can you still have a good basketball, baseball, and football program without those guys liking each other? Absolutely, you can. But does it help that they all get along? Tremendously, I think. And so you see Rick and Tony embrace, but then you see Josh Heupel come up and bear hug him and like embrace like you and I embrace, like, dude, I'm so happy for you. But then just to have the power of the T, kind of like you were talking about in other countries, people know Alabama football, the power of the T to be all over social media and the news and ESPN and Fox Sports and all these, all the way up until June or July. And then you see the power of the T, and now it's going into recruiting, and baseball's killing it in recruiting, but then it helps football in recruiting because it's just brand awareness. And so the impact that national championships had on this school is tremendous. And it's like I said, it's
you say it legitimizes all the guys under Tony. I also feel like it legitimizes just Tennessee baseball as a whole. Mm-hmm. And the legends that we always talk about. Christian Moore is now a part of the Helton legend, of the Dickey legend. Like, he goes into those groups of guys, and it legitimizes them as well as, hey, yes, they were good players in the majors, but they came from Tennessee.
Yeah.
That Tennessee baseball program. So it does help even the older guys who don't even play anymore. It helps their legacy. And then a funny story, one of my older coworkers, he's got a daughter who's looking at colleges right now. She's a senior in high school, and he said that she was gung-ho about going to Ole Miss. I think she was always like, yeah, I'm going to go to Ole Miss. That's where I want to go. And then just so happens she was taking a visit on Monday and was there at Cool Beans Monday night as we win the national championship. And she was like, Dad, I want to go to Tennessee. And that's something right there. A national championship, talk about bringing in more people. The attendance goes up. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to be in the culture of winning.
Yeah.
And so it helps every single sport. And like you said, you don't have to be friends with the guys, but man, is it nice to see. Is it nice to see our coaches hugging each other, our coaches supporting each other? I mean, back when Bruce and Pat supported each other and went to the games and dressed up. I mean, that was such a cool and great feeling for all of us as fans and players and former players. And it was, Tennessee might go through hard times and Tennessee might struggle at certain times, but we're in this together. This is a family here at Tennessee. The Vol for life. I bleed orange. I don't know if other teams and other programs feel that kind of camaraderie across sports like we do.
It's why sports. It's why that's why I love sports. It's why I can be emotional about sports. It's a beautiful thing. A group of 30, 40 something on a baseball field can unite thousands and thousands, and they can etch memories in your brain that last forever. I'll never forget watching the national championship game with my dad at our house and how we felt watching it. And yeah, that's what's so amazing about sports. And like you said, one of the things I want to talk about is how everyone throws around GOAT or everyone throws around legends. And I don't even really know. I mean, I'm going to remember all the names from this team of Christian Moore, Blake Burke, Billy Amick, Cal Stark, Hunter Inslee, who we haven't even mentioned yet, and probably has the most legendary play or the most historic play, maybe the most important play. And I'll never forget watching it. And my dad's like, "Oh no, like the throw's there." I'm like, "Oh no, the throw's there."
Just
And then he olays Buddy, and to make a play like that.
I'm getting chills right now thinking about it. I literally am.
Making a play like that on that stage is, like I mentioned earlier, it's the difference in winning a national championship or not.
Yeah.
And so it's like a play like that is like he will be a legend forever because of that one play.
Yep.
Dylan Dreiling and Christian Moore will probably be legends, or maybe not legends, maybe greats, maybe like only the real legends that we have, or, maybe we should hold legends to Peyton Manning, Al Wilson, Pat Summitt, some people, Reggie White, some people like that. And I don't want to necessarily throw off any baseball or basketball people, but maybe those and these guys are just all-time greats or great moments. But to even be in that conversation is special, man. Like, you're a college kid and you go to play baseball or any type of sport at a college, and the next thing you know, you're graduating as someone that someone's going to remember forever. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. And they've, did it with not just like making good plays or being big in the community, or they brought a national championship. There are guys that are remembered in football. There are guys that are remembered in basketball because they were great, because they were good players. Dalton Knecht's going to be remembered as a good player. He didn't bring a national championship to us.
Agreed.
These guys did, and that makes a huge difference.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Dalton Knecht is one of the greatest basketball players in Tennessee history. He brought us so many good memories. He's such an awesome ambassador for us because he's going to be good in the NBA. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star or anything, but he's going to be a good player for a while. But he didn't bring a national championship. And that's no knock on him. It's just saying,
it's difficult. It's hard to do that.
Hey, I got one. I got one. We're both from Knoxville Catholic. Everyone knows who Harrison Smith is. Guy's going to end up being a Hall of Famer probably in the NFL, multi-year All-Pro, Pro Bowl, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, athlete to come out of Knox County area. And
he's never won a championship.
People at Knoxville Catholic,
high school, college, NFL, never.
Well, that's what I'm going to say is, like, you go back to Knoxville Catholic and people are like, yeah, Harrison went here, but he didn't win one. But you think about the 2008 team and all those important players that did. It's like they won one. So it's just funny. Like, it's not a knock on them, but when you can actually get over that hump, it's crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep rambling on about baseball, but I thought it was less thinking about just saying the same thing over and over, which is very easy to do, and I don't mean to do it, how incredible the feeling is. But I've really thought back on all the plays and how this has changed so many people's lives. And to just, as someone who's played sports, to have the respect and appreciation that I do for these guys to make the biggest plays in the biggest moment.
It's incredible.
It is. All right. New uniforms.
New unis. Just came out, the new Smokey Grays. I love them. I honestly think my homerism is part of it. I always wanted to be swaggier and swaggier and swaggier when I was there. I wanted more. As a player, it's like, give me more options. When I started playing football at a young age, give me more options. When I'm playing on the video games, I was always picking teams that had black in their uniforms. Like, I'm trying to, I'm playing Road to Glory and I'm picking freaking Texas Tech because I'm like, black and red looks cool together. You know what I mean? Just give me more swag. The fact that they have a game plan of introducing new Smokies every year moving forward. These are just the first iteration. They've got like 2 or 3 more coming down the line. I love the TriStar, introducing that into it. because it's something so simple, but I do not ever want to take away the T on the helmet. I want that to be there in every single uniform. That should never, ever change. But hey, we put it on the shoulder pad. Hey, we put it on the hip. I love when they brought them out my last year at Tennessee, the Smokey Grays, and they had the Smoky Mountains on there. To me, East Tennessee is the Smoky Mountains. Like, when people say, what's East Tennessee like? I want to play banjo music, and I want you to be looking at the Smoky Mountains. That's East Tennessee to me. That's what makes me tear up. That's what makes me feel home, is that. So that is my favorite part of the uniform. I hope they never, ever take it out of the Grays. But introducing all that new stuff and the white outline around the numbers brings back some feels of early 2000s when there was a black outline around the numbers, when it wasn't just block numbers. That I really do like them. I don't think there's many uniforms that I have felt were bad in a sense. The one I will say are the gray Adidas that we had my redshirt sophomore year. Those were bad. Those are very bad. And then the planned gray ones they had for my redshirt junior year that we never wore, and they never actually made out because it would not have looked good. And I love it. I think it's great. I want more introduction of this stuff. I want more options. I want to be able to play with this on the next subject that we talk about. So I'm ecstatic.
I love uniforms. I love swag. I love those different type things. I would always be. It's a word I'm looking for. I took what I wore on the football field or when I played sports pretty serious and would think about it and wanted to look good. But these uniforms, they're fine to me. I don't get over emotional. I think the Smoky Grays are fine uniforms. I don't mind when we wear them. These seem a little busy to me. It felt like there was a lot going on. But I don't necessarily hate them. They're kind of just whatever. You're never going to beat the all whites for me or the orange top and white pants, but I don't mind the black. I don't mind the Smoky Gray. I thought some of the Smoky Grays that we have worn recently, they look good to me. Like I said, they're a little bit more clean and not as busy with all the stuff on them, but you're the former player. You're the one that actually would wear them and would be the one wearing them. So if you like them, then good. That's all that matters. So,
it's not like when other schools, say a Florida State, an Ohio State, Oregon is the most example, where they have multicolors all throughout their logos and what they use, and they can integrate all that in. We're orange and white. How can we revamp that? How can we change that? What can we add to that to make it a little bit better? No one's getting with Oregon in adding freaking chrome and silver into yellow and green and the different shades of yellow and green. We ain't changing our shade, man. We're keeping it the same. You don't change this orange. This is what it is. So I think there's only certain amount of things you can do. So I love having the just thought process and them putting in effort to be like, how can we make this a little stylish?
And I think that's a great point, and that's why I've never minded the Smoky Grays. I mean, how they went about it, Smoky Mountains, and I like a dark charcoal gray. I like it, and I'm not going to mind if they do a light. I think a light gray would look super sick. I really do, because it's something that not a lot of people do, and if you hit that color just right and have a light Smoky Gray, I think it could look super clean, super clean, because then the guys could wear black accessories or they could wear white accessories if it's a light enough gray. So, no, I think it was a great idea, whoever originally came up with it. So, I'm good with it. And It takes us into NCAA 25. I just got to say this. Have I missed the game? Yes. Do I love video games? Yes. But I'm not as crazy as everyone else is because not to stir the pot, I've always been more of a Madden guy than NCAA anyways.
Yeah.
And Madden never went away, so I didn't really ever – I mean, there were times I would have enjoyed playing the game with you as the starting left tackle. I think the Dobbs, Kamara, and Hurd backfield with triple option would have been very fun to play with. And that's not even for Tennessee fans. I think Tennessee that year would have been, some kids up in Iowa or Nevada or California or up north.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, that's like, hey, we can't be top 10 teams, top 15, but this Tennessee team's like ranked 18, so it's not super cheesy to play with them. But then you get the three guys in the backfield and you can just run amok. So I miss not playing with them. But other than that, I'm kind of pissed about this year because I've seen the ratings are just BS. They're total
they're ridiculous. I that is one thing about the game that I'm kind of upset with. I have no idea why the media hype is what is getting the teams rated, because Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter are known by more people. Colorado's the number 15 team, and they're rated really good. What the hell are we talking about? You have two players on the team. You have two players on the team that I think are very good players. I think they are. But your team as a whole sucks. You won four games.
You won 4 games last year. Now, granted, winning 4 games last year doesn't mean that you can't go out and win 12 games this year. I'm not saying that. And I get a little bit of maybe why they would put Colorado to be good because it is a video game. And I really, really hope, and I'm assuming 99.9% of chance there will be updated rosters like they do in the NFL because you have to be able to do that because no one in mid-October when Colorado has won 3 games is going to want to play with them as a 95. But I understand why they did it with them to be okay because they do have some star power. But Iowa's ranked ahead of Tennessee. We just played them 3 weeks ago and beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah.
They haven't scored a touchdown since you were in college on offense. So it's what are we doing? Maybe it was this bad when we were younger.
And we didn't really realize it.
I didn't really understand it besides, Ohio State's, highly ranked every year, even if they're not good. Notre Dame's highly ranked every year, and they're not good. So it's I understand those. But this one, when I saw that, it really pissed me off. I was like, I wasn't – I'm fine to play it, but I'm not running out. And I think my wedding has something to do with it too because, the game comes out the day before my wedding, and then on a Saturday I'm getting married, and then I'm going on a honeymoon. So it's I'm not even going to be playing it right away. But
it's also we're grown adults now. When you're a kid and when you're in middle school and high school, it's every waking minute you don't have homework or school, you're playing video games. You have this amount of time to be able to put towards it. It means so much more. Now it's well, you got responsibilities. I can't be playing video games all damn day. It will be fun whenever I do get some free time and play the game, but it can't necessarily be the life. And I pray that there are updates because of what you said. And also some of the teams being bad, having a down year, like Michigan. Bump them out, get them out, update their skill level. I don't want to be playing. I don't want to be playing against people and someone being highly rated. It's this team sucks. That part of it. I was always a huge Road to Glory guy. I've played every position that you can on Road to Glory. I loved going through the whole thing. I love playing free safety. It's one of my favorites. I love playing running back. I remember I played wide receiver one year at Kansas, in like '08, and that was after Kansas had like a 12-win season and won the Orange Bowl the year before, and they were so good. They were like number 5 on the game, and I think I had like over 2,000 yards receiving, and I was 6'7" as a outside wide receiver, and would just speed past people and moss people. It was incredible. But I'm excited for those things. What I'm not excited about, and what pisses me off, grinds my gears, throw whatever terminology you want at it, and it's just like freaking Apple, is the fact that I have to buy a new freaking console to be able to play new games. It is the most idiotic thing in the world. What the hell is the point of buying a console if I got to buy another one in 3 years? Don't give me this crap. I want to be. How much more updated can it be? We have not changed the way that games work. Okay, you can buy them online. There's no more discs. You can just buy them online. Why in the hell do I have to change my console to be able to buy something online? That makes no sense to me. Now I can't just spend $70 to $100 on a video game. I now have to spend $500 on a game console to be able to play a video game every, I don't know, week and a half for about an hour. That really grinds my gears.
Unfortunately, I disagree with you. It's kind of like what do you still have, a 360?
No, I have a Xbox One X or One S or something.
S.
Yeah.
So
the one that was before the one that is now.
Well, then you actually might. I've heard rumors that you can play it for the Xbox One X, which is what I have, and then you could play it still on the Xbox One S. So you might not have to get a console. I just heard that this week. I forgot to tell you. So you might want to Google that. But I disagree with you about the consoles. Now, I don't get every new console that comes out. I'm not a big technology guy, so I don't get all the new ones. Just like I didn't buy the Xbox One S because I had the Xbox One. So I waited until it was actually going to matter and different new gen games come out. And that's why I got the newest one a year ago. And so I'm with you. That's why I will rock the same iPhone for a long time until it goes out. I don't need the newest one every year. But you haven't bought a console in probably 3 or 4 years, 5 years. So it's not like they're getting you every year.
No, that's true. And the only reason I bought the Xbox One S was because I couldn't keep playing my 360 anymore.
Right.
That was literally the only reason.
And you're saying that it doesn't make that big of a difference? Let me tell you what it does. You playing that Xbox is like your video Wi-Fi on this podcast compared to my video on this one.
Hey, fuck off, all right? Don't be talking about fucking Wi-Fi like that, dude.
So, anyway,
I bet $55 a month for this damn Wi-Fi. You better not be talking shit about it.
I would agree with you if it was they really did try to screw us and they're like, okay, every year when you want to buy the new NCAA or the new Madden, you have to have a new console. That would be I wouldn't do it, but you can get a new one every 3 to 4 or 5 years, and the amount that we play it, maybe not now, but you get your money's worth. I remember people would be like, $500 for an Xbox. It's like, bro, if you divide that by the amount of hours, you're paying like 25 cents every time you touch the thing on. Like, it's well worth it. So calm down.
I know. Well, now that I don't play it as often, it doesn't seem as well worth it. And I'll tell you this, the only reason that I ever got past a PlayStation 2, okay, was because I spent my own money on an Xbox 360 while I was in middle school. I literally asked for money for my birthday in July as a freaking 10-year-old, got $200 total from all the family members, uncles, aunts,
Yeah.
Then saved it, didn't spend it, waited till Christmas and told my mom, I want an Xbox 360. They were $400 at the time. And I said, I will pay for half of it. And I rode that thing through college. Okay. So almost 10 years before I got an Xbox One S because that thing was important to me. I bought that thing as a kid and was like, that's what I want.
Yeah. No, and I respect that. And all my consoles have been great to me. I started with an N64 when I was younger, rode that thing, and I would say till the wheels fell off. But Kyler, it's in this house, and Meg and I have played.
And it still works.
It still works. Meg and I played Mario Kart on it. We played Mario on it. Yeah. Sometimes I don't even have to blow on that thing, boy. I mean, it still works. Then I went to an Xbox, and that Xbox, the big first black box Xbox, it was heavy as heck. I got it for Halo, and that thing I probably played that thing for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then went to the 360, rode that thing through 2 rings of death, red rings of death.
Yeah.
And then I went from the 360 to the Xbox One and rode that thing for 4, 5, 6 years. And then just now, last year, bought the One S, or 2 years ago, bought the One S. And the only reason I bought it is because you couldn't hardly find them anywhere. And it was when I was down in Naples, Florida, and they had one. And I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and get it now just so I don't have to ever worry about it. So I don't have to be in your position.
Yeah.
Or someone else's position. So I'm excited for it. I'm sorry if I'm upset.
So I can start selling feet pics so I can buy this damn console.
What?
I said I'm going to start hooking, start selling feet pics so I can buy this damn console. You don't think they won't see this size 16 right here? Right?
Yeah, get that thing on there. What? Yeah. But listen, I'm excited for the game. I honestly probably wouldn't even buy it if it wasn't for doing an online dynasty with some buddies. And if we don't end up having enough people for the online dynasty, then I won't be in any rush to buy it. I eventually probably will and just do, play online or play some Road to Glory or whatever. But yeah, I've always been a Madden guy, and now it just makes me mad that these ratings are so off kilter. But anyways, I'm so happy for everyone else that's been waiting this long.
Yes, it's incredible. Oh man, fantastic to be back, bud.
Yeah, it's great. Listen, don't forget to tell everyone in the outro or when you do the intro. I guess you've already done the intro, but yeah, we'll be back in a couple weeks. We'll be back full time doing all the football stuff.
Yeah. Give you a little break for the wedding. Let me catch up on how I'm going to schedule this out, editing, house building, time frame, and we'll get back into it in the swing of the season.
See you, brother. Be good. I'll talk.
All right, Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And if you're just listening, rate, review, download, re-download, follow us on all those listening platforms, and share with friends and family. If you want to follow us on social media, at Pancakes and Bacon on Twitter, for our main account, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed, it's just at rbacon26 on Twitter, and it is at Kyler Kerberson on all social medias for myself. So check me out there. And thank you guys so much for all your support. So excited for this upcoming season. Get back into the swing of things. And as always, go Vols.